welcome to GGSP. I'm Rad. Well, it's been a hot minute, and that pesky button may have altered the space-time continuum ever so slightly, but we are back, and coming to you once again from our very own dens of gaming. On today's show, we waste no time, speeding straight back into it with a review of Sonic Colors Ultimate.
There's no shame in it. Well, maybe a little shame.
Plus, we bring you a roundup of a few other games that have been keeping our game brains occupied. And we'll get back to answering some awesome AskSG questions from you GGS peeps. Let's do this!
Alright, now while we've been having our little staycations in our gaming dens, the world of gaming news and releases has marched ever onwards. And if it seems like the posties might be running a little bit late these days, I think I found the reason why. Two adorable kiwi birds. Kiwi is a whimsical cooperative puzzle game where you and a friend take control of these two adorable postal service workers, Jeff and Deborah, as they butt-bounce buttons, ding bells, and pull levers to get your vital correspondence where it needs to go, to varying degrees of success. While I wasn't sold on all the mini-games available, telegram writing, and the lack of an in-game chat for online co-op, it's hard to stay cranky at a game that is this wholesome. I just hope the little guys are potty trained, or else there's gonna be more than a few surprises in the post. But moving on, there is loads of gaming news to catch up on, like the announcement of two major handheld consoles. You may have heard about the upcoming release of the Nintendo Switch OLED and Valve's Steam Deck. The OLED model is due to hit our shelves in early October, with big hype over the larger, fancy schmancy 7-inch screen. That means crisp, vibrant colours. But at the end of the day, this is just a fancier Switch and won't necessarily run games any better. Alongside that, the much anticipated Steam Deck from Valve is touted to be a handheld gaming PC. With full access to the Steam store and your existing Steam library, early hands-on tests have claimed it's more powerful than the Switch, being able to play a number of modern titles at higher resolutions with fewer problems. There's been such high demand for it that Steam servers crashed when reservations opened up, and that may push unit production into next year. I'm probably gonna need a little bit more info before I commit, but I am low-key interested. And how is this for gaming nostalgia? 2 decades after its cancellation, Infinity, a Game Boy Color tactical RPG, is being brought back to life thanks to some very keen crowdfunders. Infinity was originally developed by Affinix Software back in ye old 1999, but with the introduction of the Game Boy Advance, the devs said they struggled to find a publisher for its release on the Game Boy Color. Now the OG team, plus some fresh faces, have banded together to release a completed version of the game, including a physical cartridge release. That is true gaming dedication right there. And virtual farming is about to get extreme! Well, kinda. The first official Stardew Valley Cup took place recently, which saw some of Stardew's most dedicated players compete against one another by ticking off set challenges and racking up points for a huge grand prize. The competitors were given a list of 100 different tasks with varying degrees of difficulty that they were allowed to prepare for. But during the event, 5 additional challenges were also thrown into the mix. And get this, some of the challenges included naming a chicken Eric Barone, upgrading a tool to Iridium, and reaching floor 100 in Skull Cavern. If there was ever a My Time at Porsche World Cup, I think I'd have a pretty good shot at it. But better go fast because it's time for the review.
Ultimate is a remaster of the 2010 Wii game Sonic Colors, which I never played. This colourful adventure sees our speedy blue hero heading to a new space-based theme park created by Dr. Eggman. And surprising absolutely no one except Tails,
this place looks totally harmless.
It appears to be an elaborate evil scheme.
I'll harness their hyper-go-on power, and then nothing will stop me.
The game is broken up into different sections of the theme park, each with 6 levels and a boss battle. The levels are a mix of speedy running and slower platforming. I loved guiding Sonic through impressive and colourful worlds at breakneck speeds, spin attacking into enemies and bounce pads to keep your momentum up. It's fast, fun and satisfying, exactly what you want Sonic to feel like. And then you hit the slow platforming parts. I just don't like how Sonic handles at slow speeds here. His jump feels very floaty and imprecise, while his movement has an annoying momentum to it. He just feels clumsy. And the platforming isn't very interesting or well designed. I just want to go fast. Why are you always trying to slow me down, game? Probably because levels are usually quite short. Some only take a literal minute or less to finish. I mean, I get it, Sonic is fast, but it often left me feeling like, really? That was it? That being said, the levels are clearly designed to be played through multiple times. Each has different paths to take and collectibles that you simply can't get on one run through. And you get ranked based on how fast you went and how many things you got, so they're clearly designed for people to learn and master. The problem is, I didn't really have enough fun on the first run through to want to go back to master them. The quality of levels is a very mixed bag. One level is literally just running around in circles. And there are occasional difficulty spikes, mostly due to how poorly Sonic handles, rather than because of the challenging level design. But you do have infinite lives now, and there is a new feature called Tails Saves. These are basically tokens that will let Tails drop you at a nearby platform if you fall off, without losing any rings. But they're kind of useless unless you're going for a high score, because the checkpoints often aren't that far back anyway. Oh, of course, I should mention the Wisps. These little guys can turn Sonic into things like a laser, rocket, drill, and everyone's favorite, cube! I liked how they mix things up and they can be pretty satisfying to use. There's a new Wisp too, with the Ghost Wisp letting you phase between walls into nearby enemies. I found the boss fights pretty disappointing too. They aren't particularly interesting, and out of the 6 main boss fights, there's really only 3 because they reuse each boss twice. You're not fooling us, we can see they're the same boss. Outside the main missions, there's also the Sonic Simulation mode, where you can run through a handful of levels with someone else. They look pretty bland and it's not very fun. Having a speedy 2-player mode like this on one screen just doesn't really work well. You can play it solo though. So what else is new in this version? Well, on PlayStation and Xbox, at least it's running at a nice crisp 4K and 60 frames a second with some improved graphics. It's cleaned up well. The cutscenes could have used a bit more of a touch-up though, since they looked pretty low resolution and blocky to me.
It looks like the theme of his park is universal domination and the conquest of alien races.
It's more than a theme, it's a reality.
I played on PlayStation and didn't find any bugs or glitches, but there have been reports of graphical glitches on the Switch version, some of which could potentially induce seizures. Sega is aware and are working on a patch, so if you're prone to seizures, we'd recommend waiting for that patch before playing that version. There's also a new Rival Rush mode, which is a race or time trial between you and Metal Sonic. I played it once, I lost, and that was enough of that for me. Oh, and there are park tokens you can collect to unlock cosmetics if that's your thing. Overall, I liked the speedy bits and the music, but the platforming felt a bit like a chore. I know this is a fan favorite for many Sonic lovers, so I'm sure if you loved it back in the day, this will recapture some memories. But as someone playing it for the first time in 2021, it doesn't hold up so well. So I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Just because we've been away for a little bit doesn't mean the games have stopped coming. So to catch you up, here's a few games that we played over the break. One surprise release was Axiom Verge 2, a modern retro Metroidvania game, if that makes sense. This is some super solid old school goodness though. The pixel art style is great and the music is perfect. There's a great quick pace to the ability unlocks, and I love the hacking ability that lets you manipulate enemies to your whims. Also, I love the little robot drone buddy who can even explore a whole other dimension. I only played the first few hours, but I am super keen to jump back in and play some more. Now, as a fan of games like Overcooked and Moving Out, I was also intrigued by Get Packed Fully Loaded. It's essentially the same idea as Moving Out, where you and a group of friends try your best not to destroy everything as you pack up a house. It has some minor differences, like you can flat pack any item, you can also pack everything, and you can send off the moving truck at any time, even while your friends are in it. It's fun co-op chaos that served up some lols, even if I have more or less seen it before. Rad and I also checked out the programming experience Game Builder Garage on the Nintendo Switch to see if we're as good at making games as we are at playing them. Spoiler alert, we are not. There are a ton of useful tools that you can use to create just about any game you can think of. You just have to be willing to put in the time and be okay with making a lot of mistakes along the way. I would have liked to see more online community options though. Getting to see what other players have made is half the fun for me. But Rad and I did make games for each other, which taught me, if nothing else, that we are greatly lacking in hippo-focused games these days.
Oh, too true, Gem, too true. Aside from that, I putted around the green with Mario Golf Super Rush. This wacky game is at its best in multiplayer, but unfortunately, there are maps that can only be unlocked by completing them in single player first. And I did not love the single player. It was tedious, felt out of order, and extremely repetitive. Plus, golf-based boss fights? No, thank you. For me, this wasn't a hole-in-one. But another game that I've been dabbling with is Humankind. If you're familiar with the Civilization series, then this will look very familiar to you. This turn-based historical strategy game has you play through numerous cultures as you seek to expand your empire and become the world's most powerful nation.
Come on!
It's rather complex, but the more you play, the more you learn. And I'm gonna learn a lot because I'm going to play a lot. I loved this. Well, that's a few of the things that we've been playing lately. And it looks like in the next few months, there's going to be a heap more great games for us to get stuck into as well.
Okay, it is time to tackle some AskSP. And it seems like the whole button schmozzle has not affected our inbox because we still have plenty of questions to choose from. So let's get started with this video from Ariba.
Hi GGSP, I'm Ariba, and I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, are you guys going to review Miitopia for the Nintendo Switch? Number 2, do you think there's going to be any new updates for Animal Crossing New Horizons this year? Please let me know. Bye.
Thanks, Ariba. Your video must have come to us before the episode with our Miitopia review went to air, so you may already know, yes, we did indeed review Miitopia. We had some interesting takes on the game actually, and Rad of course created some amazing/terrifying Miis in the process. So if you haven't already seen it, you can hop online and check it out in our archive. As for whether we think there'll be any new updates for Animal Crossing New Horizons this year, well, Nintendo has said there are some new content updates in development for later in the year. We haven't heard any specific details about what this will entail just yet, but at the very least I think they'll continue with the usual seasonal events, and perhaps add some new in-game items. Personally, I would love them to add a bulk crafting option. That would be super useful. Now let's have another vid, and this one comes to us from Senna.
Hey GGSP, I'm Senna here, and I'd like to know when Forza Horizon 5 is going to come out on the Xbox One, and can you tell me some car racing games that I might like on the Xbox One? Bye.
Thanks, Senna. In answer to your first question about when Forza Horizon 5 will release on the Xbox One, well, it is officially due for release in November this year. So there's not too much longer to wait before you can start your engines. This time around, it will be set in Mexico, featuring a range of locations across 11 different biomes. They'll also be introducing a new tourist difficulty mode for anyone who wants a more chilled out cruising experience. Now onto some racing games for the Xbox One that you might like. Well, of course, there are all the games from the Forza Horizon or Forza Motorsport series, which are pretty great. But I think our former Extreme ruler Darren is a bit of a rev head, so let's see if I can dial him in on my tablet here.
Greetings, Extreme Ruler Darren. I mean, Darren here.
Oh, hi Darren, just getting back into the AskSP swing of things, and Senna is looking for recommendations for racing games on the Xbox One. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, there are plenty of great options to choose from. You might enjoy feeling the need for speed with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, for example. Or the mucky motorsports of Dirt 5. Or perhaps Wreckfest, a racer with heavy emphasis on the smashy. Or, if you're into F1 racing and want a bit more of a racing simulation style experience, there's also F1 2020. Oh, I love a good racing game. All that metal, all those chassis. Vroom, 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 vroom.
Of course you do, Darren. Well, those were some great suggestions. Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, I think we have time for one more quick question. So let's check out this one from Indiana.
Hey GGSP, I have one question for you. Have you ever reviewed Undertale or Deltarune before? Bye-bye.
Thanks, Indiana. And yes, GGSP has reviewed Undertale. Goose and Rad took a look at it back in 2017. You can check out our thoughts about it if you search it out through our online channels. Also, I did a whole series of Undertale live streams back in 2018, which you can find online if you're interested in seeing my trademark Gemicide run, as well as some truly top-notch voice acting from me, if I do say so myself.
My brother and I created some puzzles. I think you will find this one quite shocking. For you see, this is the invisible electricity maze.
As for Deltarune, considering only the first chapter is playable so far, it's probably not something we'll be reviewing at this stage. But I, for one, will definitely be keeping an eye out for more. The first chapter ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Alright, that's all the time we have for AskSP this week. If you have a question for us, go here to send it in. And if you make a video that makes it onto the show, we'll find a way to send you some very special GGSP whatsits and whosits at some stage. Actually, I don't think we have any more whosits or thingamabobs. Making a mental note to order some more. Oh, so much to do.
Well, that's the show for this week, but don't worry, we got all sorts of fun coming at you next time. We'll take on the multi-dimensional musical journey of a teenage guitar prodigy in The Artful Escape. And Darren brings us some hot tips for getting good with strats for your next boss battle. Until then, stay safe, be nice, have fun, and keep gaming. Rat out.
Gem out.